Thank you. I think this is the first time that I've been welcomed with music also. It feels very bombastic. But ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and future makers, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to Finland and to share these days for a discussion on the future of education, which is really a future issue, if any. I also hope that your visit and your meetings with your colleagues have been rewarding so far. The fact that you are meeting here in Helsinki is indeed something to be celebrated. Not only that you have dared to come here in November, even though you should get some kind of a medal for that, but also that you are taking your time to meet face-to-face with colleagues and stakeholders like this. Sending emails and having Zoom meetings are both great ways to collaborate, but I truly believe that magic happens when we come together and meet face-to-face like this. We all know that the world out there, what the world out there looks like. And I'm not talking about the weather, but the political darkness and the violence and the challenges that face the world at this very moment. Friends, we have a special responsibility to be the light in the darkness, because the things we are working on and the things that you are talking about here today, that's what brings hope to this world. So kudos to all of you. Thank you for being here. Dear friends, in the current turbulence of shifting democratic, social, technological, economical and ecological realities, a discussion on the future is more important than ever. While researchers have pointed out that forecasting the future has become increasingly difficult, future making and creating positive pathways into the future is, on the other hand, crucially important. Do you like inspirational quotes? Here's one with some serious truth to it. Nothing we do can change the past, but everything we do changes the future. So we need to have a strong vision for our direction. We are trying to meet global challenges also in the Finnish education system. I want to give you a brief overview of the current status and background of our system. During the past decades, our educational system has received international attention as being one of the best. Since 2001, the PISA studies have helped us to compare international scores in literacy, mathematics and science, while also addressing the importance of narrowing the learning gaps between the highest and the lowest scoring pupils. As you already know, our system is inclusive, based on schools that offer free education, free meals in schools, and equal access in all parts of the country. And when I mentioned the school meals here, I'd like to just to give an overview of the Finnish system. There was a study made by one educational editor a few months ago, actually. They asked both students and teachers what were the best things in school. And the students answered, my friends and the school meal. And the teachers answered, inspired students. And I think this creates for a very productive equation. If the students think that friends and the school meal, those are the good parts of school, and that makes them inspired pupils, and the teacher thinks that inspired pupils, that's the best part of school, then I think we have a perfect match that really can lead to good results. But if I go back to to the present and the future, the guiding principle here in Finland is that the best school is the one nearest you, not only the one that few can afford to go to. So equality is a basis of the whole system. We are also proud of our highly educated and motivated teachers who have a high autonomy and freedom in their work. Their pedagogic knowledge holds universally high standards, and this can be seen in our national core curriculum too, which, by the way, is already 10 years old. So these are some of the central elements of the Finnish system. A few weeks ago, I traveled to Fortaleza in Brazil to attend UNESCO's Global Education meeting with colleagues from around the world. In Brazil, I was glad to talk about Finland's educational system, and there was a lot of interest regarding, for example, a few of the things I just mentioned. Free school meals, highly appreciated by teachers, high quality education and pedagogy based on research and so forth. Exchanging views with international colleagues, just as we are doing here today, is both rewarding and inspiring. We have a lot to learn from each other. The meeting in Brazil focused on the work that still needs to be done to reach the social development goals regarding education, SDG as we call them, and number 4 here to be precise. There are still 250 million children outside of education. The world needs 44 million teachers at primary and secondary levels, as well as 6 million teachers in early childhood education in order to provide education for all on a global level. And we are not really there yet. So today, as we focus on the future of education, a greeting from the Global Education meeting in Brazil, let's keep in mind that we need to carry on our efforts in promoting access to education on a global level. Ladies and gentlemen, coming back to Finland and our system, as you, however, may have noticed, even our skies here in Finland are not always blue and sunny. Well, certainly not now in November. But now I'm referring to something else. Currently, we are being challenged by a decline in educational outcomes in both core subjects and in students' self-esteem. At the same time, learning gaps between students from different socio-economic and ethnic backgrounds have also been widening. While mathematical, reading and scientific literacy among Finnish students still continues to rank above the OECD average, we recognize that we have to redefine our educational policies along with the resources for implementing the changes will be needed in order to improve learning outcomes. In my position as Minister of Education, I'm working to reverse this trend. During this government term, we are bringing in restructuring measures and investing an additional 200 million euros into primary and lower secondary education. For example, as part of the restructuring and investment, we will increase the minimum number of classes in primary and lower secondary education by 3 weekly classes per year. One of these will be added for reading and one for mathematics at grade levels 1 and 2, and one for reading and literature at grade levels 3 to 6. So 3 weekly hours all in all. These additional classes will not expand the curriculum, but more time will be dedicated to learning. You could view this as going back to the basics. We are also developing the support for individual students, making sure that all receive the extra support when needed. This too is a very important measure. Making sure no one falls behind is key to a successful system. Legislation needed to supporting students that from time to time might need a little extra help is currently being re-evaluated and improved, with new legislation set to take effect already next year. With this, the administrative burden of teachers will be less, and the different types of support available will be harmonized nationally so that there will be enough support measures offered everywhere. This includes further strengthening the expertise of teaching staff, along with ensuring sufficient personnel resources to provide support. We have also introduced new measures to promote educational equality and equal treatment in early childhood education, preschool and basic education by targeting additional funding to early childhood education and care units and schools operating in disadvantaged neighbourhoods. The purpose of this additional so-called needs-based support of around 50 million euros per year is to strengthen the quality of basic education, even out learning differences, and to prevent school segregation. With these funds, it's possible to hire more teachers and teaching assistants. Class groups can also be made smaller, allowing teachers more time with each student. With these and other ongoing measures, our goal is to improve the quality of early childhood education and in that way support a good start on the educational path for everyone. Our goal is to improve the outcomes and the educational levels of all Finns by strengthening the basic skill set acquired in basic education and making sure that everyone achieves sufficient knowledge before exiting the school system. We want to create favourable conditions for economic growth, and this starts with good quality education, and we want to decrease the number of young people that remain outside education and employment. So, dear guests, we strongly recognise that we need to go further. There's a need for a more profound change in education, from reactive policy making to proactivity, from rethinking the way to organise education to rethinking the whole purpose of education. The OECD has, for example, predicted that global economic shifts mean that the traditional way of doing labour will not be available for all. Therefore, we have to discover new ways to understand the goals of education and motivate students. The unforeseen pace of technological development and the rise of artificial intelligence in particular also means that we are experiencing a shift from learning something that machines cannot do to learning something because it makes us better as humans, as individuals, and as a society. The global crisis of democracies, rising social polarization, and ecological challenges also signal an urgent need to think how schools can support ethics, empathy, and our ability to live together while respecting the limits of the earth. We are incorporating this mindset to developing our education, and one example of this is our current Future of Education project in the ongoing government programme. In this work, developed together with a large network of Finnish and international experts and stakeholders, we aim at creating a shared long-term vision for the future of the Finnish basic educational system. The aim is in part to understand what kind of opportunities and challenges the anticipated future may bring and which skills will be needed moving forward. The more profound goal of the vision work is to be a way for us to view what the future holds. As noticed before, when facing turbulent times and an uncertain future, we cannot rely on just reacting to changes we see. Instead, we need vision and courage to set off to in the right new direction. Although the path is uncertain, the educational vision serves to guide our actions in a proactive way. The motto for our work is that our education system should not only react to the changes we expect to see in the future, but it should support and create the future that we want to see. When schools change, they can change the world. You and me, working in education, we are also change makers. So, dear friends, finally, and once again, welcome to Helsinki, one of the learning cities and home to 100. I hope this meeting gives us all a chance to get inspired by the vision shared and that this gives us the courage we need to change and create the future. Thank you very much for this opportunity to address you, and I hope to see you here all soon again.